what were you sipping on there? What are you sipping on there?
A little shake, man. Little
Protein shake?
protein, little meal replacement action,
Are
some
you uh,
greens.
are you getting the number of proteins in per day
Dude, it's
that you're
tough,
supposed to
man.
be?
It's tough. It's a lot of proteins, but
A lot of protein.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah, man. It's it's fascinating to me too, and it's actually been a lot of fun. To I use my Fitness Pal, and I ended up paying for the premium membership just for insight.
It's
It's pretty
baller.
fascinating when you start when you start paying attention to what you're consuming, how much. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to have another chai latte from Starbucks ever again.
Starbucks. What is
Yeah,
that?
because I didn't realize 42 grams of sugar.
Ooh,
It's a lot of sugar, dude. A lot of sugar.
that's a
Now,
lot
if
of
I want to
sugar.
indulge, then but what's cool about it is like tracking it and being aware. And this is part two of our health conversation, and that this actually conversation goes into it. I have really enjoyed the intentionality of tracking. So what the commitment, what I want to talk to you about, and kind of curious on you as well. Um, but for me, this was a very impactful month, and there's a couple commitments I made, and I went into it thinking my commitments were going to be something different than what I'm leaving this health month with the conclusions that I've come to, and the impact of going through it again. Specifically, I went into it like I really wanted to get the discipline and routine of my workouts and the physical aspect of health more dialed in. And so I went uh I started going to burn boot camp with my wife, not with my wife, we go separately. Um, and I've been going to the 5 a.m. workout, and it's been awesome. And some of the lessons from it, one, like, dude, such a different workout than going and lifting, which I'm a big fan of going and lifting. It's just something I haven't done in the past, and my body's sore. There's some plyo things, dude. You leave soaking wet, sweating, you're tired, but dude, totally energized, right? Totally energized. So it's that commitment has helped me to my get up early commitment and go to bed early. Those two are hand in hand. Gets the workout going in the morning, and then I flipped it when I get home. Then I get into the Word and do my Bible study, and that has been much more consistent as well. The journaling, and there's a community aspect at Burn. Like, you see the same people, especially at the 5 o'clock crowd. Like, it's the same people. There's some beasts in there. You get to know them. There's community. There's fun, camaraderie, relationship building. And so, what I'm leaving this month is with this awesome commitment that makes me feel amazing in the morning. But it also has blessed so many other areas of my life, right? It's the like I said, the relational side is huge. We touched on that last episode where that is like more significant to longevity and quality of life than really anything you can do. Is that relational side and the community side. The spiritual side, I feel great after the workout. I'm completely energized. The endorphins are going, all that stuff is going. So my time in the Word has been more productive, more fruitful, more focused, more joyful. So my spiritual health is going up, and my time with God, which is those two are like the pillars to start my day. The physical and the spiritual are like those are critical for me to have a great day. The rest of the day, it sets the tone, and it helps with everything, dude. Like, it's causing an overflow effect in areas of my life. But that's what I think is fascinating about health, is if you're intentional and you put a why to it and you commit to it and you're accountable to it and you have a group of dudes that you're surrounded by that are also committed to bettering themselves. It's not just a physical commitment, dude. It's like all these other areas of life are also thriving. Not that everything's like yay and unicorns and rainbows and all that stuff, but my resiliency and my ability to deal with all the other things also goes up significantly because these other areas of my life are there's successes in them. There's not only checking the block for complete for the day, but there's like yesterday I had some cake. I had some cake that my mom had made for Easter, and I tracked it. I put it in there, and I see it, and I visualize it. I'm like, hey, but I made a choice. It was a decision I made, and I knew I was going to track it, and I felt no. It limited it to what I wanted it to be, and it was what it was, right? And I think so many of us. I was talking to somebody, I won't say her name, but she's like, "Oh, if I tracked this stuff or if I did this thing, I'd be depressed for a week." And I'm like, "Man, that's sad. That's like a sad, but it's such a reactionary thing. That's where most of us live, which causes the crash diets and the missed workouts and the despair, and then we just fall out of these things." And so for me, this month was very impactful because I went in focusing on a thing, and that has been successful and set me on a trajectory to do this, long term. But all so many other areas of my life just absolutely benefited, to include these rich relationships with a bunch of amazing dudes who are equally striving for their own goals.
Yeah, dude. I love it, man. I have a few thoughts on it. So I read a book kind of preparing for Health Month called The Joy of Movement by Kelly McGonigal. And what I've noticed significantly with so I've been pretty disciplined most of my life on like exercise and working out. And like if I have like I'm a routine guy, I'm a checklist guy, right? So like if I create a checklist and I stick to it to create a habit, like I'm pretty good. Like I'm pretty disciplined, and my wife like calls me the most disciplined dude ever. And it's just I get in a routine, man. I'm a habit guy, and so like that's never been a really big challenge for me. But what I've noticed is if I go work out in the morning, if I exercise first thing in the morning, like you said, it like totally impacts the way I show up for the rest of the day. Like I'll go from the to the gym from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., get home about 6:30. That's right around the time when my kids are waking up to get ready for school. And I'd say 7 out of 10 mornings, like one of my kids is grumpy, right? And so like that could have an impact on me. Like that could change my mood pretty quickly too. And sometimes it still does. But like if I come home from the gym and I'm all fired up and like I'm high on life and joyful and like sweaty and feeling good, like that changes how I show up for my kids when they wake up grumpy. And in the book, I learned about this thing called endocannabinoids. And like there is like no kidding some scientific proof, some like brain chemical stuff that goes on, and it's endocannabinoids where like that. Do you ever get that? I know you're not like a huge runner, but like they call it the runner's high. Like that's a thing. Like you feel like high on life and joyful, and like you're sweating, you're running hard, and like you just feel amazing. Like that's what endocannabinoids are. And like that I feel that like all the time when I come back from the gym, and like I'm just like, let's go, like happy, joyful. And that then has an impact on my family, on my kids, when you show up with just a big smile on your face. And so I found that to be really, really impactful for my family and myself because I just show up differently. I show up, ready to be fired up. And the other thing I've found is like I have way more energy. One of my goals that I said to myself a long time ago is like I don't ever want to say no to my kids when they ask me to play because I'm tired. Right? It's like being full of energy is important to me, and I think the more you get up and are healthy and you exercise and you're eating well, it has a major impact on your energy level. And I've rarely to never say, I can't play with my kids because I'm tired because I don't have enough energy, even after a full day of talking to you all day long. So
I
it's
mean, that's
been
super energizing for you. You get invaluable insights. You get incredible accountability. You also your eyes get to feast on this face, which is, in and of itself a blessing of
yeah,
proportions that I don't know if I could necessarily quantify at this point. I mean, dude, I get it. I get it. I'm sure you go home with tons of energy. I'm sure you go home with tons of
loads.
energy to play with the kids. One of the other things that you said that I also want to emphasize, and we see this within the Kinetic Man, is and why I point this out, because it's also whether you note it or not, it's happening. And that's the power of influence, right? So the things that we do when our kids see us come home and we're all sweaty and we're gross and all that kind of stuff and we're full of joy, like that has an impact on them too, right? So like I've started doing, I come home, get the, get stuff ready. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 in my household, somebody's waking up grumpy. Like
Yeah, you have
there
one
is
more kid to deal
not
with.
a morning. Well, Maya gets up later and she's a teenager now. It's not, she's the easiest. But one of the boys is grumpy. Like there's no doubt about it, 100% of the time. And what's funny is, so like, talk about energy. What I do with Noah now, this is like our routine, is I'll go up there. He's always grumpy, dude. He's my youngest. I, do this magic trick where I make his pajamas disappear. Like I literally just grab the bottom by his feet and yank him off like you do like a table, a tablecloth, and it kind of gets him laughing or it makes him more grumpy, whatever. But then what I do is I put him on my shoulder, like he sits on my shoulders. And I told you we used to do like the carry. Now it's evolved.
The
He
koala
sits on
bear
my
hug.
shoulders and I run down the stairs. I don't hold his feet. He has to hold on. And I sprint down the stairs, turn the corner super hard. And like, he's like, ah, like just having a blast. Right. And if I wasn't, there's, I mean, he's not a tiny dude anymore. And there's, but it's not something it's not particularly challenging, but like I have a lot of confidence that I'm not gonna like if I fall down the stairs, like it's gonna be bad, right?
Yeah, that'd be a bad day.
It's gonna be a bad day. But I feel very confident and full of energy at this point to be able to do that. And I could see doing that, for the next at least couple years, just sprinting down the stairs with him on my shoulder, turning the corner, like going, launching him onto the couch. And that sets a tone, right? And not only to our kids and to our family and the culture of our household, which is now the Erica, I mean, is a gym owner and I'm committed to this gym and our kids see that stuff. But in our group, dude, like I noted for me personally, I don't know, I can't speak for any other dudes, but for me personally, a lot of guys, yourself included, have stopped drinking. Well, that's not important to me. To stop drinking is not like a goal, right? I don't have I'm almost agnostic on like the obviously alcoholism, absolutely terrible, but in moderation, like I have no issue with it. But because of who I surround myself with, I drink significantly less. And I say significant, it was, I think at the top I was drinking maybe a couple beers a week. But like now, like I just don't drink at all and I don't miss it and I don't think about it. And a big part of that is just because the dudes I hang out with just are committed to not drinking, right? And that same impact goes with sugar consumption and how we eat and working out. Like, dude, it just doesn't work to be in our group of men and not think about these things. Like it just doesn't work. Like it just feels weird. And so you either what happens, we don't, it's not like we force through hey dude, you're a kinetic man, like you have to work out. We don't, like that's not the conversation. It's just guys just start doing it and committing to these crazy hard things. Then the rest of the dudes around them are like, oh man, I gotta step up my game. And like Mark Cox, like, oh, I'm doing 75 hard for the third time. I'm like, oh okay, well I
Yeah,
mean, is 5 o'clock in the morning like that hard of a thing? And then Pat Anderson's like ripped, and you're like, okay, can I maybe eat a little bit more healthy, be more conscious? It just the power of those dudes are being surrounded by. Well, don't ever forget you have that same power, and you are exuding that same influence, right? And we need to be conscious of that because if we truly care about those little human beings that we say we love, then like we need to set the right example, not just in our words but in our deeds. And that's exactly what these things are, right?
yeah, dude. There's a. I was looking it up. There's a quote from James Clear that I think is really powerful. He says, "Join groups where your desired behavior is the normal behavior in the group." Like the normal behavior of a kinetic man is to be healthy, create daily habits that are forming us into the type of man that's going to live and be at the 90 percentile mark of the VO2 max so you can briskly walk upstairs when you're 70 years old, right? Like that's the group. And so when you join that, like you're going to naturally want to do that and be a part of it. And what's interesting is like people start to one up each other, right? Like, like
Oh yeah.
remember when we did the burpee challenge and
Yeah, I
like we were
remember I
tracking that
ended up
stuff.
having to get a shot in my back because I
You hurt yourself.
seized up because I hurt myself.
What's also cool, man, is I've noticed like my kids, like when we were on spring break, I got up early and we were in Arizona and I went for a run. The next morning, I come back and I'm all sweaty. Next morning, my daughter woke up early and I was like tying my shoes and she's like, Daddy, can I go with you? I was like, yeah, let's go. And so like she strapped on her shoes, got dressed, and like we went out for a run. My son the other weekend, like went and grabbed some weights from the basement and came up. He's like, Daddy, look at me, I'm working out. And like he started like lifting, like doing some bicep curls, right? And he ordered a salad the other day. He ordered a taco salad at the Mexican restaurant the other day because he sees me eating salad. Like lessons are caught, not taught. Like they're watching, they're listening, they're seeing, and they're learning these things from us to be healthy individuals, and it's just rad, man.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, and I'm starting to see things too. Like you talk about all the areas of health, right? My daughter's 13. The cell phone thing is huge for all friends and all the things. And there's not there's I'm starting to see her leave her phone, put it down, not get it for in the morning, because of the things we talk about, right? And there's, she said the other day, Erica has done 2 kids camps now at Burn, which is awesome. Just kids camp Saturday. It's an hour slot that's just kids, and she asked Maya to come help her. So Maya helped out, and when they left, I wasn't there, but they were having Erica and Maya were having a conversation, and Maya was like, "Mom, I could really see working here. I want to work here." Like I want to, and so that got Erica. Erica told me that, and that got us thinking. Like, oh man, this business is not just like something we're passionate about. Like this, I hadn't thought of it. Maybe because I'm ignorant, but I hadn't thought of it as being a generational opportunity, where maybe Maya takes it over. Like she's like, I want to run the burn boot camp. Okay, cool. We'll sell it to you. And like now she is in a lifestyle of health because she's seen her mom do it. And she also is in a lifestyle of entrepreneurship and community and all these different things that are important to us because that's what she observed, which is really cool, man. Like that is it's cool for a 13-year-old to be thinking, that far forward. I didn't have the foresight to, I mean, I'll claim it as a lesson, an intentional lesson that I did as a great dad. Not at all, dude. Like
Right.
it just, like you said, it's caught, not taught. And I love that.
Yeah, dude. Hey, one last thing that was on my mind this month, and it kind of was around the spring break time frame, but our good buddy Matt Heron, who's in our group, said something on our call a couple days ago, and we hit on being healthy and getting into new habits and routines, but I get pretty like narrowly focused on that. And in the past, I would get pretty upset with myself and negative towards falling off of that, right? And my performance coach Alex Racy says like, "Hey, live in a B minus world. Like as long as you're a B minus, like you're doing great." But I was always in this like A plus mentality, and so like recently, I've learned to give myself more grace. And when I do have the cookie, when I do eat the 3 enchilada plate with beans and rice, when I do miss the morning workout at the gym, I'm not as hard on myself as I used to be, and I give myself more grace because that allows me to get back and eat well the next day or go to the gym the next day and catch up. And so like that's been really powerful for me this round of health month, is just to live in the B minus area and to give myself a little bit more grace when I do miss because I am human and I'm not a robot and I'm not going to live in the A plus world. Um, so that's been powerful for me this month
Yeah. And I love that, man. And I would say though, the B minus world you're living in reality, does it not feel like an A plus world?
for sure,
Like, you know what I mean? Like it just feels different, right? It
for
just
sure.
because even that lesson of gratitude and grace. Like those are two things that men are really bad at giving themselves.
For sure.
And dude, when you do, that B minus is actually it feels pretty dang good. One thing because you mentioned his name, people catching things and relationally, Matt is one of my favorite human beings in the world. And there's a text he sent me yesterday. Again, this is the power of just intentionality. He said, "Hey, any kinetic activities next Thursday?" And I love it because that text says so much, right? One, it says he acknowledges that we love him and he loves us and we want to hang out. But I've had two or three comments this week on people that have said, "I love how you and Stu are committed to your Thursdays being the day that you guys do your thing." Right. Our realtor, he made a comment yesterday. He's like, "I love how you guys do that." Like, do people know? Like, ah, like I'm just having a call, Goody, unless we're together, right, on the Thursday. Like they know we're doing something. They're invited, whoever they is, most likely, but they just know because the level of intentionality and um, those life decisions and commitments, whether it's working out, whether it's hanging out on Thursdays, whether it's, whatever it is you're doing, it has an impact. And
Yeah.
so again, I don't say that to pat us on the back. I say that because everybody listening to this has that same level of influence and power. You just have to acknowledge it, recognize it, and leverage it, right? Leverage it for the benefit of others and to add value.
Last two things. If you're in Colorado, and if you want to come hang with us for those, kinetic connecting events on Thursdays, there's a little banner at the top of our website. It says, "Come join Dave and Stu." Like, click on that, fill out your email, and you'll get added to the regular invite list. And two, also, if you're in California, specifically if you're on the west, not California, Colorado, if you're on the west side of Colorado, Goody, let's plug Burn Boot Camp. Tell us about the new venture that Erica's in.
Oh yeah, man. No, it's awesome. We recently acquired Burn Boot Camp, and it's been a huge blessing, man. Not only does it feed the entrepreneurial desire, but more than that, way more than that, is just this community of folks coming together who are focused, like-minded on physical fitness, but also like just the environment, man. Like it's such a cool environment. It's not something I had experienced in the past. And so I appreciate you mentioning that. It's the Burn Boot Camp Bear Creek. If you're interested in coming out, and I will most likely see you at the 5 o'clock a.m. I'm trying to bring more dudes, man. I'm trying to bring more dudes and get some men out there. And because I tell you,
I've heard it'll
there's
kick your
some
butt. I've heard
there's
it's very
dude, I tell you, it's a workout I've not experienced in the past to that level, and there's some older ladies in there I'm trying to keep up with. I'm trying to keep up with them. They're kicking my butt, so it's a
nice.
cool place. But yeah, and for our women listeners, if you're out here, they offer free childcare, which is super cool. You bring your kid, you drop them off, you go get a workout in, get your sweat on, get your what'd you call them, the endochronophilodagos.
Endocannabinoids.
Yeah, those guys.
Endocannabinoids.
Get those endocannabinoids going.
That's right.
Yeah. So get out there, get some PT, be focused on the spiritual, the relational, your community, your mental health. All these things are critical. And make some commitments, share them with somebody and get after it.
Yes, sir.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.